We recently had more than 4 hours to play around in Assassin's Creed Origins, during which we were free to explore just one subsection of its enormous map. There were plenty of NPCs to escort, animals to hunt, bodies to carry, and fortresses to tag. But we also noticed a few smaller points of interest that we thought we should share. Here are 7 little details worth noticing in Assassin's Creed Origins. Though there is a wide selection of melee weapons for you to try out and stockpile, like maces, swords, khopesh, and spears, you'll want to try out the different bows on offer. They all perform very different functions. For instance, the warrior bow behaves a lot like a shotgun, and is therefore good for doing a lot of damage at short range. A warrior bow we had equipped allowed you to fire 5 arrows at once. Meanwhile, an upgrade for the more sniper-like predator bow allows you to control its arrows in flight. Hunting bows are better for animals and can inflict bleeding over time to make them easier to track and bring down, whereas light bows are for firing a lot of arrows in quick succession. Make sure you have the right bows equipped for the task at hand, and hovering over an enemy will give you an idea of whether the bow will one-shot kill them or not. If you're anything like us, you'll go through a lot of arrows at an alarming rate, so be sure to scan all encampments for arrow racks to keep yourself topped up, because different bow types require different kinds of arrows. And one more tip, holding arrows over an open flame will give you a quick and easy upgrade to a fire arrow. Your different mounts, which have their own names and backstories in the menu, are invaluable in getting around the gigantic maps of Assassin's Creed Origins. And it's useful to remember that you don't need to dismount them in order to loot fallen enemies or animals. Bear in mind too that most of the rivers appear to be pretty shallow, so you'll be able to keep moving even if it looks like you'll need to stop or find another path.
Time's up, Magi!
When you sneak in to take on enemy hideouts and fortresses, bear in mind that being spotted can lead to them lighting braziers to call in reinforcements, which are then marked with a red brazier icon. It's therefore a good idea to locate braziers first and approach them in order to plant a trap that will cause the fire to blow up in a guard's face rather than sound the alarm against you. We were told by a developer that you don't need any particular resource to plant these traps, so you should be able to do this at any time without worrying that you won't have the right materials to hand. It's also worth bearing in mind that if you spend too long at an enemy encampment and draw too much attention to yourself, this will alert a newer, deadlier enemy to turn up and hunt you down. Here, we were targeted by Ptolemy's Fist, and as you can see, they had way more health than your average guard and barely even blinked when we set a lion on them. In these cases, at least earlier on in the game, there's probably no shame in sneaking off and living to fight another day. Your eagle Senu is an invaluable ally when it comes to seeking out quest targets and tagging enemy camps. Such a hard-working bird friend needs a reward, so if you idle with Bayek for long enough, Senu will soar down to land on his arm. Pressing Y on Xbox or triangle on PlayStation here will have you either give her a well-deserved treat or a scratch that'll make her shake her tail feather. Very cute. If you want to show your love to more animals, you can also press Y or triangle while crouched next to village cats in order to give them pats too. You won't have to look far for them either. The cats of ancient Egypt are super friendly. I mean, they were worshipped there, so fair enough, I guess. Speaking of animals, the range of wildlife in Assassin's Creed Origins is incredible. From hippos, crocodiles, and hyenas to lions, leopards, and flocks of flamingos, riding around Origins often feels like being part of a living nature documentary. That said, the wildlife often behaves in unexpected ways. Hippos, you'll find, are ultra aggressive, and crocodiles can surprise you in the long grass or down by the water's edge if you aren't careful. That animal animosity can sometimes work in your favour though, when animals face off against one another and allow you to stroll in and reap the rewards, which can then be used in crafting recipes, weapon upgrades, and side quests. There are also rogue animal challenges, where slightly tougher beasts can offer bigger XP boosts. Birds like vultures, ibis and flamingos offer crafting items too, but can often be a touch more difficult to spot and to bring down than the bigger land animals. But luckily, Senu can actually swoop in and help you there too. Ubisoft recently announced Discovery Tour, a new Assassin's Creed Origins mode that will let players explore the world and learn about ancient Egyptian culture. Although the mode won't be available until next year as a free download, seeing just how much detail is in the world already, we're sure this is going to be a fascinating new way of looking at just how much work goes into building the world to be as historically accurate as possible. For example, this strange-looking setup we happen to stumble across is a shaduf, an irrigation tool used by ancient Egyptians to lift water from a river or lake onto land or into another river or lake. The level of detail here is pretty amazing. That said, we did notice a little historical inaccuracy while attempting a quest at a local market. Can you spot what it is? In ancient Egypt, carrots would have been red, white, yellow, or, most likely, purple. It was only in 17th century Holland that the orange carrot took root and became commonplace. But, to be fair to Ubisoft, most of us would have been pretty confused if we'd seen purple carrots on sale here instead. Still, good trivia, right? So these are just a few small details we picked up during this playthrough, which focused on only one area of the full AC Origins map. It's safe to say at this point that the game looks stunning, but will you be picking it up? Let us know, and for a more in-depth look at what we thought of the game when we played an earlier build, you can click on the video on screen now. And do like and subscribe if you want to see more from Eurogamer in the future. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Oh.